Welcome back to Shambles. This is episode 3 with your host Duncan. Today with me is my second oldest brother, the best of them.
I'm not going to argue with that.
His name is Stewart.
That's me.
That is him. This is fun. It's been a while since my last episode with Daniel. He's never going to be on again.
I think you've upgraded.
That's a little bit of an upgrade, I feel like.
I'm leaving.
There's a little bit more of a rapport going on here already.
That's why you took so long off, to find somebody that was better.
There was a lot of soul searching, really. You're the best I got.
Ooh.
Secret weapon.
I'll take it.
So, how did we get around to this?
A couple of days off.
You had a couple days off? What were you doing?
Well, you know, this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yep. Everyone's going to pick up on that, too. That air, Stewart, you got to come up with something here.
This is your podcast, not mine.
Stewart, come on, be the middle.
That's ours.
What's yours is mine, but not really.
Yours, mine, and ours.
Well, let's start off with the first thing that I read when I looked down at my notes here.
Which was?
Remember when we were little and we lived in the apartments?
Which ones?
The Mesa Verde?
Well, you want to start with that story?
Starting strong. And I forget, we were playing over there or something, right?
I don't even remember. I remember there was some soccer games going on in the soccer fields.
We're just on the playground, though.
We were on the playground, but there was a lot of people, like, in the background, like, across the parking lot.
Anyways.
Where were we going?
That's, whatever was happening is irrelevant. It's where it goes from there.
You gotta get all the setup for...
Like, paint a picture.
You have to paint the picture.
Where I was probably going down the slide. I don't know why. It was just me and you, though. Like, one of the few times it was just us back in those days. And... it was like if you hop the fence, it was like literally a 2-minute walk or a 3-minute walk probably.
Not even to the apartments. Once you hop the fence, you are at the back of the apartment.
I really don't think I had it in me, and you'll figure out why. But I don't remember why there was this big pile of like dead sticks and stuff like outside of the fenced area.
Yeah, and it went
park.
up to like our chests. And
it seemed so big when I was little. It was like a big mound.
In reality, it was probably like a foot off the ground.
Oh, but we were doing something, and I just was like, man, Stewart, I gotta poop so bad.
Well, wait till we get home. It's
How
right
old
there.
How old was I? I was like 6 or
my
7.
gosh.
I was pretty little.
Yeah, you were really small.
Just do it. I have to poop.
Hold it.
I can't. That's probably
pretty much the
how
whole
it happened.
conversation.
And so whatever we decided to do, there was like an actual little patch right in the middle of them.
I started panicking. I'm like, this kid's going to poop his pants. Well, of course, I'm looking around and I see this huge pile of sticks and logs and stuff.
The funny thing is it wasn't covered on the side to the park, wasn't it? It was just like the semicircle facing out towards everything else, then the
Something
fence
like
to the
that.
park. And you were like just standing there facing away from me while I squatted and used like the rotting leaves from the sticks to wipe.
Oh my gosh. I'm just glad it wasn't me.
It was pretty wild.
That whole scenario, though. Just watch it like, well, just go behind these sticks. If you can't make it to the apartment that's 100 feet the opposite direction.
Oh my gosh. Good times though.
I wonder how many parents at the soccer games were like looking over like, what the hell are those kids doing?
I just wonder who found it.
That's true. I never thought of that. The workers are coming in the next day to pick up the sticks. And...
just perfectly in the middle of their work. It's a mound
It's
of food.
art. I can't.
It's an art piece.
I can't move the sticks now.
Was that from a show, or is like Portlandia, where they would go around and like decorate the dog poop that they found to like Google eyes on it?
I think so. It's been a while since I've seen that show. Good one though.
It's a good.
Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that story in quite some time.
That's pretty wild.
Except every time I drive past those apartments.
It
Like, hey,
pops
look,
in.
that's where Duncan pooped.
There's that one, and the time me and my friend Doug walked barefoot like half a mile for some reason, and then we got picked up by the missionaries and brought back.
I remember that one.
I just reprimanded Stewart for banging the table there.
I tapped the table.
Well, speaking of childhood trauma,
Oh boy.
you had any wild stories you can remember that's probably not going to be too... Don't expose us, but...
Just you.
Just me, I don't mind. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, there's always my favorite one when we lived in Washougal on our last house. And you were looking in the pantry.
Oh, yeah.
And I was walking down the hallway and pushed on the door.
No, I feel like it was more animosity behind it than that. I just remember getting the doorknob jammed into like my rib cage.
Well, from my perspective, I was just like, la la la, oh, I'm going to mess with Duncan. And I pushed the door on you. And apparently it hit you in the back or something. And I'm walking down the hallway afterwards, kind of giggling, and hearing you get all riled up. Oh my God. And then I turn into the bathroom and close the door. And as I close the door and take like 2 steps, I just hear... I'm like, what the heck was that?
Listen, that's not entirely what happened, because I chased you pretty immediately, and I remember you like kind of shuffled into the bathroom, and I went to stop you from shutting the door.
Okay, you're right.
And my just hand went through the door.
I just hear this bang as I'm closing it.
The scariest, though, was not what happened between you and me. It was when Mom came barreling down the hallway.
I'm getting to that. So I was already like, oh, what just happened? And so, but I had to pee. So I go and I start peeing. Next thing I know, maybe that's when I remember the thumping. And then, just screaming. I'm like, oh, something's going on. And the door comes flying open, and Mom, with the broom, just starts swinging at me while I'm urinating. I'm just
That's awesome.
trying to make it into the bowl as I'm being attacked by my mother. I don't know if I'd call it trauma, but I can't pee anymore.
Well, I can't imagine that we were traumatized by much.
No, it was my favorite memory, though. Mom doesn't like me sharing it.
I don't like that story, babe.
The glass was so clean.
Goodness. Well, we can compare that with a more recent stupid thing we did. When we went out to eat with Parker and Dad. We were looking for a place around town. And we went to Wingers. That was killing it. So we, what did we do? We both just were like, let's go and check the wait time.
Well, yeah, we didn't want to go to...
And it was busy for Wingers.
Yeah, it was pretty busy, but Dad wanted to go to Killian's or...
But we don't talk about that. The place isn't very good.
Anyways, we didn't want to go to any of the other places, but Wingers was busy, so like, well, we'll run in there and see what the wait is. So we literally walk all the way into the foyer area, and there's like 2 or 3 ladies standing there, and no workers. But we get in there and we just kind of look around, and we don't say anything.
Never said a word. We just looked at each other.
We just kind of looked at each other, and we like
waited for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Kind of waited, for a few minutes, and then just kind of talked. And then once I was I got the courage to say something, but then I realized a few minutes had already passed.
We were in too deep.
We were in too deep, and at this point, like, I can't just be like, so are you guys waiting, or have you talked to the workers? So we waited for another minute or 2, and then we just left and said that they were too busy.
You gotta love that kind of situation, though.
Yeah.
It happens with me an awful lot. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that was...
I just hate interacting with strangers. Especially when you realize you're like too deep into something.
Yeah, that was my problem. Was once I finally realized what was going on and had the courage, I was like, yeah, I'm too deep now.
And then we ended up at KFC A&W.
Yeah. So we really...
I did not get the large freeze this time. We learned the lesson from the last time we were at KFC.
I'd like an adult-sized Krabby Patty. I don't think I can finish this Krabby Patty.
That's my life, really.
Oh, man. You did learn your lesson. That's
for sure. What was the last weird work story you got? Or interacting with a weird person or a crazy person? Just anything.
Any story? I have so many.
Pick from the vast catalog of work stories you probably have.
Let's see. So it was the week before Christmas.
'Twas the week before Christmas.
Not a creature was stirring. And I was closing, and this family came in, and there was a mom, a dad, and I think there was only one kid. But anyways, they were looking around for a while, and I helped the dad to find 2 or 3 items, and he was very nice. The mom I didn't really interact with very much. Anyways, they bought a few things, and they left. I didn't check them out at the front, but somebody else did. And then they left. Then a few minutes later, I ended up at the front for some reason. And then the dad came back in and wanted to make sure that 2 of the items they bought was the correct price. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, go look around. And then he showed me one, like, okay, one of the items. So I went over and checked one while he checked another one towards the back of the store. Came up, and he was like, yeah, these were the same price. Just wanted to make sure. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, it looks like what you bought here, this, like, mini security camera. Like, it was, it's only on sale for, like, $59.99, which is what they got charged, but they wanted to buy something else that was similar, but it was on sale for $49.99. Like, we actually don't have any more of those. That's why there's, like, no of those items there, and those are next to this tag because we sold out of them. Anyways, I threw the tag away. I was like, we don't have any more left anyways, so I tossed it. And then he's like, okay, well, what do we do? And I was like, well, I can return it for you and stuff, get you your money back, whatever you want. And so he texted his wife, and he's like, oh, wait, she's going to come in and stuff. So she comes in 20 seconds later. It's like, what's going on? And I immediately was like, oh, no, she's got a bad vibe. I know something's up. And then I was like, well, the item that you purchased is different than what the tag was. So that's why there's like a $10 difference. And I was like, if you'd like, I could return it, get your money back. I could resell it to you, give you like a 10% off discount. So save you a little bit of money if you still want that item. Anyways, she did not like that. She starts ripping into me, like yelling and like, well, I don't see how that's our problem if you're the ones that tagged it wrong and everything. Blah, 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 all that mumbo jumbo.
It's amazing how customers, it must be their like technique to get stuff cheaper, because we usually generally don't tag things wrong. People will move things and set them in the wrong spots or do stuff.
That's what I was like, well, it's a completely different item. Like if it was the same item and we made the mistake and it was marked, like $5 off or whatever, then I could work with you and try to be nice. But since you're being real, she was being something that I can't say on
real
there.
Karen.
Yeah. And so because of that, I was kind of more unwilling to work with her, although her husband had been very polite up to this point. So that's why I offered the 10% off.
Yeah.
And anyways, she was on her rant, and when she realized that I wasn't going to budge because I can't, she was kind of stared at me. And then the guy's like, well, if you do 15, like, we could make that work. And I was like, for you, I said that in front of the lady. I looked at the guy and I was like, for you, yeah, I give you 15% off. And he's like, all right, sweet, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that return and sell it back to us for 15% off. And then she left all upset. And luckily, the guy was super nice. That's why I was like, for you, I'll do the 15, but not for you.
That was on sale.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if I could get away with that.
Well, I got a little bit.
You got a little bit of pull.
A little bit of authority. Not super crazy, but it was majorly irritating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a completely different item. I can't just change the price.
Yeah. I don't have anything for Christmas. I was a little indisposed through the holidays this year.
Some of us have to work.
Well, something that annoys me is they delayed Morbius again.
Oh my gosh. Has it been 2 years now?
It's supposed to come out like July 7th, 2020, I think.
Freaking, they are going to lose so much money.
Probably already
And
have.
they keep just revealing all these teases and stuff.
Yeah.
Like these minute clips, and it just makes you more excited to watch it. And then a week later, they delay it another 2 months.
It's got me fuming. The only thing like keeping me calm down is that Boba Fett and Cobra Kai I already finished, though.
Getting through all of our other shows. The whole is over. I have to rewatch Spider-Man 3 times just to
get my fill.
Yeah.
That was a good one, though, the new Spider-Man. It's been out for 2 weeks. We can go into our in-depth spoiler review if we want to do that.
You want to do spoiler? Or
spoiler for sure. Spoiler warning for people if you haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it already, then you don't want to see it, so what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, you're not really a fan if you haven't seen it by this point.
Yeah.
I'm not even the biggest Spider-Man fan, but I've seen it.
Anyways.
I love Spider-Man, just so everybody knows. Just not like Duncan.
Number 1, Daredevil's back.
You didn't even give him a warning.
We already said spoiler warning. That was like 30 seconds ago.
Okay, you're right. I know.
Him coming back, the whole theater, when we saw it, they like screamed. It was wild.
I'm pretty sure I was the only one in that theater that had seen Daredevil, because as soon as the camera panned on his face, I was like a little kid, like, oh, honey, look, oh, it's Daredevil.
Oh.
It's like, baby, in the first 10 minutes, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then, freaking, the biggest reveal of the movie, Toby and Andrew came back.
I almost peed my pants.
It was a good time.
Well, once Andrew showed up, I was like, well, they can't bring him back and not Toby.
Yeah, like at that point it was sealed.
My wife was staring at me because I like legit was sitting on the edge of my seat, like shaking my butt like a dog.
Stupid.
I was so excited. I was like, oh, Toby better show up. And then everybody clapped when Andrew showed up. And I did too. I liked Andrew, but as soon as the portal opened and Toby lifted his arm, like, hi, I freaking started clapping and nobody else was for like 5 seconds.
It was
and
like
then
SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Pretty much. And then everybody kind of joined in a few seconds later. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's
all
good.
I was hoping for out of that film.
And it delivered.
It sure did.
Makes me wonder what's next. I sure hope they keep making them with Tom Holland.
Yeah, I like Tom Holland.
But now if they keep that emotional depth throughout the next year, that'll be nice.
And now that he's like more of an adult,
Yeah.
he's a man.
Kind of see how how he notebooks MJ.
No,
Do you like that? That was a pretty good comparison.
that was good.
Because at the end of the movie, everybody forgets who Peter Parker is. That's how they fix the spell.
And then that way the multiverse doesn't break and everybody starts showing up into theirs. And
It was a good one.
yeah.
I'd give it a solid. Well, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
That low.
It could be better. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but the fact that they had all the nostalgic stuff they used with the purpose, it made it a lot better.
That's true.
So, without any of the nostalgia in it, I would have given it like a 7 out of 10, but that pumps it up. And I don't want to give it too much weight in the actual score.
Yeah, well, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie, but that all hinges on the fact that without the other films, this one couldn't have been possible.
Yeah.
But because they did brought everybody back, and the nostalgia is what made this one like
Blew my mind.
Yeah, it was a event in the theaters that was close to and or similar to Endgame, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars experience, when it's just like so
Just years of work.
yeah, just like they did such a good job. This one's a little different because they brought old people back.
But yeah, those were already foundations that were set years ago.
Yeah,
And
but
they just
because they did that,
took advantage of it.
it made it seem like the first time I sat in the theater watching Lord of the Rings or
That was a good one.
like Star Wars Episode 3.
I felt like a schoolboy again.
Yeah. I desperately want to make those.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you share a problem with me. I've already talked about it on my other podcasts. Our addiction to Pokemon cards.
How much money have we spent just today?
How much was that? Like,
I spent 60.
it was $120 for the celebrations thing.
Don't tell my wife I spent $60 on cards.
Don't worry, I don't talk to her anyways. And then it was $150 for that, so $270 alone. And I told myself I wasn't gonna buy any more cards. I keep telling myself I'm not gonna buy any for a while, and immediately I buy some.
Well, I've been good to my promise. I haven't bought anything unless it's the celebration packs.
I'm weak when you're around me though, because you egg me on.
Well, it's fun to watch.
Fun to watch me waste all my
Waste
money.
your money. I can't
Hit
waste.
rock bottom.
I can only waste $60.
And I pulled absolute garbage. Got nothing.
I got decent stuff.
The best though is the fact that I pulled 2 Charizards. That I'll never get old. I can hold that over you forever.
I hate you.
It's some good stuff.
I got 1 Blastoise. Well, I guess I have 2 now.
You have 2 now. I gave you one out of the kindness of my heart.
And now I have two.
Because of course.
And a shiny Mew.
Who would have thought when I just saw that stupid Elite Trainer box for the celebrations at Walmart just out of nowhere after I checked like the day before and it was totally empty.
We should have gone to Walmart today. I can go later.
Yeah, we can discuss this later.
That just feeds into this whole topic.
We can't.
We can't, but we will.
I can't. I don't have it in me.
Only if it's celebrations packs. My wife thinks I only spent $20.
I'm like, only celebrations, and then I walk out with that stupid...
the huge
Shining
box.
Fates and that booster box. What was that? Did you just break my chair or did you fart?
I didn't either. I accidentally turned and my nail caught on your chair and made that big lip sound.
On my nice, good chair?
It's Ninja Turtles.
It's perfect for my arcade machine, though.
Sure.
It's a perfect fit. Anyways. Yeah, it's a slippery slope, them cards.
Can't
The
stop, won't stop.
So, never stopping.
Pretty much.
Oh, it's be awkward if we both took a drink of our drinks at the same time, just the dead air.
Just look at each other. So we still did.
We did anyways. Might need to... Oh my gosh. I spit water everywhere as well.
Jeez. Have some class.
It's my spare room. We can do whatever I want in here.
You're going to have to do a lot of editing.
Probably. When I listen to this back over and I hear it all, we can decide where it's going.
You can do a lot of outtakes at the end.
Yeah, just weird choppy podcast, and it's like, here's all the stuff we cut out if you want to listen to it.
It makes a lot more sense if you listen to the whole...
And we're going to put it on you guys to take it, edit it all back in so you can have one cohesive experience.
A little bit of homework for the listeners.
That's what I really want to do, though, is if, like, for whatever reason we did manage to get a bass, I want people to, like, write songs to send in and do a new intro every week with the songs that they submit. That's, like, one of my favorite things that I hear people, like, see people do with podcasts.
People do that?
It's pretty wild. I can show you a few later. It's like some of the stuff they come up with.
Let's listen to it now.
You know, I could, but it's some pretty wild stuff. I don't know if I want to expose people to that right now. I'll show you, and then you can be ashamed of me, but...
Okay. Well, I already am, but...
Well, it's not easy being the family disappointment.
Somebody's got to do it.
I wear that badge with pride. Just start crying.
I wouldn't know.
Well,
Just kidding.
when are you going to watch the Clone Wars?
I only watch canon.
You know, I thought I wanted to argue about that right now, but I just don't have it in me. As soon as you said that, I was like, I can't. Well, I give up.
Not much of an argument. At this point, it's just just to keep the joke running.
You need to watch it, though. That way you can appreciate everything that's coming.
Well, the best part is I could have watched the whole thing by now and never told you and just keep the joke going.
Did you, though?
That's part of the joke. You'll never know.
I'll have ways. I'll figure out a way to like get it out of you.
You'll make a reference to something. I'll be like, what?
I'll pay somebody to just somehow bring it up. They'll get to know you over the course of a few days.
You're
like
hire
come into work like
info
a new
assassin.
They'll like come into work like a new regular or something to your job and like get to know you, and then that'll just come up.
First of all, you overestimate me at work. I don't do that much talking to people.
That's true.
What are you looking for? It's right here.
Unless people are specifically in my department, I will just sprint past them basically unless they grab me.
Well, my store's too small to do that, but still, I ask if they need any help, and if they say no, then I do not think about them twice.
Yep, I'm like, oh, perfect. If you need anything, just let me know, and I walk away.
Pretty much.
If they need anything, let me know, but then I'm like in the back doing stuff, so they have to get somebody else to call me over.
If you need me, get somebody else.
Pretty much. I just don't tell them that.
Oh, gosh. That's hilarious.
What else have we done this week? Anything? Not anything worthwhile. When you came in and we talked for the last 20 minutes pretty much before I closed at work. That was pretty fun.
It was fun.
I introduced you to my coworker, and that was the most
excited.
awkward. I was like introducing my girlfriend to you, basically.
Hi, can I say the name?
I'll say his first name, that's fine. Grant?
Grant? Yeah. Hi, Grant. This is And then he just like stares at me.
This is my brother.
And then I'm like, I'm Stewart. Nice to meet you.
This is the short one I was telling you about.
And then we just kind of stood there, and somebody made a comment about Pokemon, and then it got the ball rolling.
Kind of. It's always funny. The funniest was when I brought Dad in, because I was like, you gotta meet my dad.
You told Grant that?
Uh-huh. And when he met him and stuff, he's like, hey, your dad's a character. It's like, he does not disappoint. I'm pretty sure I hype him up. I don't overhype him, and I don't undersell. I mean, you get it pretty much exactly what I described. So, like, the few things I can do that with. It's the person you exactly expect it to be at that point.
I guess that's not good. Well, that's not bad.
It's not hard to do. He's like a caricature of a human. It's like somebody from a show with all his traits are so exaggerated.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Wild ride, that guy.
Yep.
You got nothing?
I don't want to say anything that will incriminate me.
Don't say anything incriminating. Just change the subject.
So how about them Cowboys?
What?
I'm just kidding.
We don't do that here.
Oh, sorry. Wrong room.
Did you see the game?
Which one?
Any of them? Just me trying to make conversation with people that like sports.
Point, set, match, game over. Michael Scott.
So done. Yeah, I got nothing. It's really hard to keep the ball rolling for 30 minutes, not naturally.
We're doing only 30 minutes?
You want to keep going? We can go longer. Let's make this the longest one I've got so far.
We haven't even hit all your bullet points.
Well, we got the poop behind Mesa Verde.
So you read it off,
off the list. Talked about childhood drama. Oh, yeah. I guess there's how often we tend to agree with Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if it's real, but... About
90% of the time.
Half the time it's just like the people he runs into are complete psychopaths, but then there's the little stuff that makes him seem crazy.
He'll make like one comment like, oh, can you just take 2 feet forward in the line so there's not a huge gap? And next thing you know, everybody's yelling at him to get lost.
Racist as well.
He's racist and they're telling him to get
Stepped
lost.
out of his lane. Oh, goodness.
It's so true, though.
But then he'll get like caught up on the guy tucking his
sweater
into his pants.
And he walks in on him. What are you doing?
I just thought I'd try it out. Do you like it? Not a fan.
Oh man, that was funny. That show's a wild ride.
That was killing me when he was just going through everything in their house and they were watching him on the security camera. I was dying.
What? That's not what we meant when we said make yourself at home. Why don't you just sit down on the couch on your phone like normal people?
Person. I tried to finish your sentence and did not go well.
Did not, yeah. Nice try there, buddy.
Get out.
That was an okay film.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was alright, yeah.
Overhyped.
A little overhyped, but...
Not very scary. Predictable.
Yeah, I didn't predict anything well before it happened, but like a couple seconds I was like, oh, that's where they're going with this.
As soon as she said she was a therapist, I'm like, she's brainwashing them.
Yeah. I didn't call that. But I did call like everything got kind of weird and I was like, oh, they're auctioning him off.
Well, I knew that, first of all, you go into that movie knowing that he's trying to make a political statement. So I was like, well, first of all, I know all the white people are going to be evil.
I might need to cut this out.
I was just being honest.
Oh, yeah, you can have your dead air. Gotta keep talking.
Well, read through the list like you were poop behind Mesa Verde.
Poop behind Mesa Verde, childhood traumas. I can't think of anything else for that column. Should be a pull from there.
You didn't even write down my favorite one that I was looking forward to talking to.
What?
I guess we could. You haven't even...
Right.
Have you talked about Halo yet?
Oh, how I'm much better than you at it?
Well, it depends on which one you're talking about.
Any of them?
The new one.
The new one, I'm still consistently better than you, but you saw my performance in the campaign.
The multiplayer in this one, we are closer. We are much more even. One of us will have a good game. One of us won't. It's back and forth.
I'm a little bit more consistent, but... That's what it's like playing games with this guy. Can't have any fun.
I guess I can't really spoil the ending for you because somebody hasn't beaten it yet.
Listen, I have a job.
So
I haven't had the last week off work.
I have a wife, a pregnant wife, a
I don't think you're
40-hour
making
a
the
week
argument
job.
you think you're making. I have a pregnant wife that I'm not paying attention to because I'm playing
Because
video
I'm playing
games.
Halo. Exactly. That's how much I'm committed.
She's just sitting there next to you. Or in the other room.
She can do whatever she wants.
She's
it's her time.
Free woman. It's 2021. 2022.
She can do... Oh, that's right.
It's a new year.
New year, new you.
Anyways.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah. Playing anything with you is a chore, though, because even playing the Pokemon card game, you can't look away from what we're doing for 2 seconds or else cars are getting swapped and stuff's getting changed.
I can neither confirm nor deny any of this.
It's true.
But
How many times I've caught him in the act.
I do win a lot. That's all I gotta say.
And he will argue with me for 10 minutes before he gives it.
We tied.
Not even that. Once I see you like switching something and you fight me on it for like 10 minutes.
No, the card says you can swap.
That's another thing.
When the player's
That's a
not
whole
looking.
Other thing entirely. When the player's not looking, swap these out. Swap this with any card of your choice from the deck.
From the deck, and don't reshuffle.
So, or slide an energy under one while I'm not looking.
What? How did you... It's the third turn of the game and you have 4 energies.
So dumb.
Well, I added an extra trainer card that said slide extra energy underneath Pokemon.
No. Not having it. He's just a cheater.
All I hear is blah blah blah. I'm a dirty tramp.
Oh goodness. What was the last book you read?
From front to back.
Ideally.
Cover to cover.
Not just the synopsis on the back.
Like in my whole life.
That you read for fun.
For fun?
Well, yeah, you really don't read for fun.
Yeah, be more specific. The last book I read cover to cover was not very funny. Is the Book of Mormon, but.
Well, there you go.
But the last book that I read that wasn't that from cover to cover was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Harry Potter
And the Deathly Hallows.
Good day, mate.
Part
I
1 and
Australian,
2.
Was it?
Austrian. Oh.
Put another
shrimp on the barbie. I don't read very much.
That's for sure.
I like to watch the movie.
That's a good one. I'm in the middle of reading the third Lord of the Rings right now. It's a good one.
You know, I read the first 30 pages of the Twin Towers.
The Two Towers? The Twin Towers is another thing.
Ah, yeah, you're right. I might have to cut that
Why would
out.
Why would you skip to the second book?
The first one didn't sound...
I loved the first one. It's such a fun read. Like, I blinked and I was already, like, to Weathertop.
I just wanted to see read the battles.
There's not really many battles, actually. The Battle of Helm's Deep in the book is like a chapter.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to read.
Skip to it at that point.
I don't know. I didn't make it very far.
It's a good read to me.
Harry Potter's. I read the last one, but I only read the up to the train and like the second and third one. That's all I remember is when he hadn't even got to Hogwarts yet.
I think I read the first 2 pages of the Sorcerer's Stone in like 3rd grade, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
I tried taking an AR test on like 2 or 3 of the Harry Potters and only reading up to the train part and then watching the film. I did not pass those AR tests.
Cut a lot out of the movie.
Yeah. You have to get like a 6 or something out of 10, and I got like 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
I like Harry Potter, just not as much as Lord of the Rings, enough to get me to read the books.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think the biggest thing is I just wanted to know how it ended, and I knew the movies were gonna take another like 5-10 years. I want to figure out how this thing's ending. Whereas Lord of the Rings, they just came out boom, 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 over the span of like 6 years.
They came out over 3 years.
Well, I guess when we watched the first one, though, it was already on DVD. So then the second one came out pretty quick. And then the third one came out like a year, 2 years later. So
that's fair.
I wasn't trying to get through 7 or 8 films.
There's only like 50 years between the book and then the movie as well.
Yeah.
It's not like Harry Potter, where like 2 books came out and then they started working on movies.
That's true.
Oh, I mean, the last Harry Potter book came out right. It was like a few years before, or the last Harry Potter book came out, pretty close to the actual movie.
Well,
a few years before.
Started it, yeah. Something like that.
I don't know how much longer before, but it wasn't like a huge gap.
That's true. But I wanted to know how it ended.
Huh? If that's what you want to do.
It's also the record for the longest book I've ever read.
How many pages is it?
That's a good question. I think it's like 700 or 800 pages.
Well, I consider Lord of the Rings to be one book, one story, one thing. So there's like 1,200 in total, about. I think that's how it was when I read it the first time. It was like a one book with all of them in it. So that's how I'll count it.
I think I broke my phone.
What the freak?
Oh, did it have all of them in there?
How many pages in Harry Potter? Hold on, I'm actually going to look up when the Deathly Hallows book came out.
When did the movie come out?
Whoops, Whoops. I suck at typing.
Yeah.
Is that the movie or the book? Part 1 came out in 2010? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I thought that was like 2012 at least.
Nope. Harry Potter number 2, or the Deathly Hallows 2, was 2011.
Book. Oh yeah, 3 years. Sorcerer's Stone was written in 97.
So it took her 10 years to write all 7?
Not bad. She was a firecracker.
Sheesh.
I think the only person that writes faster than that is Stephen King. He releases like 5 books a year. Feels like it anyways.
I think it took me 607 pages, looks like. It took me almost 28 years to write not even a...
Took you almost 28 years to write what?
Not one book.
Wow, that's impressive.
It took her 10 to write 7. Each one better than the last.
Are they?
I don't know, I haven't read them all.
No, I haven't read any of them.
I've only read the last one.
Harry Potter's always an interesting thing. Like, I'm not interested in it, but then I like watch it and I'm like, man, I'm in a mood. And then all of a sudden I'm at Universal and I go to Harry Potter World. I'm like, oh, I don't need a wand or anything. Then Parker gets a wand and I'm like, I kind of want a wand. I get weirdly like into it while I'm there.
Next thing you know, you're drinking the
butterbeer.
The butterbeer with a wand, and you scratch your own scar into your forehead. And well, I'd be doing Chandler a disservice if I didn't bring this up.
What?
Well, I thought we were gonna go over our DC film ranks.
I liked Man of Steel.
That's on my list.
I like, and we're only counting like the DC like universe like of movies.
Yeah, you're counting all the DC films.
Not every DC film ever.
Well, like live action ones.
Not every live. I'm not counting anything before the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well.
Okay, so the Dark Knight trilogy is the best.
Well, obviously.
Man of Steel.
Christopher Nolan's best. Man of Steel's good. It's on my list. Spoiler: Man of Steel is high on my list.
That was fine. That was good. I liked Wonder Woman. The
That's
first one. I haven't seen the second one yet.
You haven't seen the second one?
Uh-uh.
You'll see where it's at on my list.
I didn't... Well, it was entertaining, the second Suicide Squad.
I haven't updated it since that one came out, actually.
I don't know if I want to get into how much I hated Jared Leto in the first one.
He did such a good job.
No.
As Morbius.
Hopefully.
If it ever
we
comes
can only
out.
hope, yeah.
Hated
it. Other than that, the movie was okay. And those are the only ones that are notable enough for me to even mention. I haven't seen Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, now you just have no credibility. I had to update my list really quick now.
I'm sweating to death in this hot room.
This is your house.
Why is it so bloody hot in here? Because the computer's on now, actually.
And the door's closed.
And the sun's beating into this room. Oh my gosh.
Well, you want to see my list? I mean, I haven't tweaked with it in a while, obviously, because I haven't updated it.
I want to look. Let me read it while you start reading. Let me read it over your shoulder while you're reading it off.
Okay, but you can't say anything.
I will keep my mouth shut until after you're done.
This is a discussion, not a debate. This is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's fact, but it's my opinion. All right, so number 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Really?
Enough said. If you haven't watched...
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something lower on the list.
But you need to watch it. I was one of those people that bought it on DVD, even though I didn't need to. I bought the 4K, Blu-ray, and the DVD special.
Without even having seen it first?
No, I'd seen it.
Was it on HBO?
Yeah, I watched it on HBO Max first. I stayed up late and watched the prologue or whatever. The first, 9 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the rest of, the 3 hours and 15 minutes.
I don't know if I'd count that one, though.
I know, I just threw that one in there.
But it was really good.
Yeah. And, Joker I threw in there. It's not...
It's not part of the universe.
But it's DC, and it was super good.
Really good.
Honestly, Joker and Zack Snyder's Justice League are both, toe-to-toe with number 1. Those are both amazing films. The only upside to Joker is that it's shorter. If the Justice League, Zack Snyder would have cut it down to 3 hours, cut out a few things, but it didn't ruin anything from the movie, from Zack Snyder's Justice League, just a little long. And then, obviously, Man of Steel is my number 3. I love that film.
I think I've only seen it once, though.
Are you really?
I've seen, pieces of it since, but I only saw it the one time.
Oh, man, it's so good.
It was good. The action was good.
And this one gets a lot of flack, and I understand, but you have to watch the ultimate cut of BVS DFJ.
BVS DFJ.
Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, the ultimate cut. The extra 30 minutes, it just gives more in-depth reasoning to certain things and explains things a little bit better. Anyways.
Okay.
Then, obviously, Wonder Woman is going to be the next one. It's really good.
That's a good one.
Just a great standalone film, and Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman.
Don't elaborate on that.
And then the Suicide Squad, the second one, is probably going to be my next one. And honestly, I could even swap Wonder Woman that one around a little bit, but they're both really good. Definitely earns the R rating.
Well, it got rid of one of my least favorite people right off the bat, so I was fine with that.
Yeah, that was the best part. Should I spoil it?
Nah.
Okay.
Let people wonder who I hate in that movie.
Who the
actor is,
yeah.
Anyways.
Let's just say, somebody that we both do not care for.
He's such a punchable face.
Yeah,
and his personality in real life, I don't care for.
Pun intended with his face.
Yeah, no, that we kind of spoiler alert.
Something happens to him pretty early on in the film that made us very happy.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then after that, I'd say Shazam is my next one, which I love Shazam, and the only reason it's kind of lower, just the action was kind of great movie. The action was kind of lacking, which doesn't always ruin films or anything, but I don't know. It was good. I enjoyed it. None of these I don't like, so it's only down there just because I loved the other one so much more. So much that just Shazam, I feel like it's in a pretty good spot, kind of in the middle of the pack.
It was a good one.
The next one is kind of the hot topic. You either love it or you hate it. From people that I've talked to, which, I mean, there are problems with it.
I know 2 people that have told me they love it.
It's Aquaman. It has pacing issues and some tonal issues at times, but with its flaws and plot holes, I did enjoy it. By the end of the film, I was like, oh, that was a fun ride. And for a character that takes place mostly underwater, in his stuff.
Patrick Wilson was my favorite character.
He was good. I enjoy him as an actor, just in general, but yeah, there's issues in that movie, but every time I watch it, it's one of those where it's by the end, I'm like, that was a fun ride, and the cool water creature battle at the end was pretty sick. And I love Jason Momoa and everything, so it's a good one.
He was really good in Game of Thrones. For when he was in it.
How many episodes was he in?
He was not in it very long. And when he was in it, it was should I be watching this?
Oh, gosh.
Am I old enough to be watching
one
this?
One of those characters.
He's the character in that first season.
Oh gosh. All right. Anyway, the next one is Birds of Prey, which was,
I actually liked that one a lot. I would have put that.
I like Birds of Prey.
I guess okay.
That's
the only thing I did not like about that movie was the girl that we found out was the daughter that survived from like Cloverfield Lane and stuff. I thought she had such a wooden performance that just pulled me out.
Oh, the Huntress.
She's the one that was like she wanted like revenge and stuff. Yeah. That was her motivation.
Yeah,
that was one of the worst things I've ever seen was that character, and that like
that's funny.
Like her, I don't know if it was the acting because I liked her in other things, but it was so bad.
You just didn't like her performance.
I was struggling every time. I guess her and the cop lady I could not stand.
She's got like one.
The cop lady
character.
I couldn't stand either, but everything else I really liked.
Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy the movie, and Black Mask. Ewan McGregor.
He was killing it.
He was the he was the star. That's the other thing that's so low is when he's the star of your female movie. They kind of like, well, what's the point of, you know what I mean? Like, if the best character in a female-driven movie is the male, then you kind of miss the ball.
I might be biased just because we like Ewan McGregor so much.
That's also true, but
it's like with Bill Burr, who knows if he's a great actor, but he kills me in everything. I think he is so good in everything he's done.
Yeah, that's true. But I think he did a great job as Black Mask, and
Harley Quinn was classic.
Harley Quinn was classic. There's just too many. Like,
I actually really liked that one girl with the screeching.
Whatever her name is. Black Canary. Canary. How do you say it?
Black Canary.
I can't.
Have you ever heard of the bird of canary?
Yeah. Have you ever? Anyways, yeah, she was fine.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
There was just something about it that just didn't really like, and then the fact that spoiler, if you don't want to learn this, then turn away now. But when they killed Black Mask at the end, I was a little peeved. He was the best part of the movie, and then you killed him off.
You could have been in a Batman movie.
And then you could have used him in other things. Yeah.
From my experience.
Yeah, so I was a little upset with that, and the fact that they kind of hinted that, like, it doesn't bother me at all. It just was kind of weird that they tried to make his like best buddy in the film kind of like have a little bit of a love interest with him or something. It was kind of bizarre.
Unrequited love, Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't ruin the movie or anything. It was just kind of a weird twist thing they threw in for no reason. But I don't know. Overall, I just
didn't service the plot.
It was just lacking something that, and I watched it 2 or 3 times, and every time I just always end it with like, it was fine, but it's not like Man of Steel or like these other ones where after I watch them, I'm like, man, that was awesome. Like, I loved that movie. And that's one of the things where like even at least Aquaman had this huge action sequence and like good action, and like it was just amazing, like really fun to watch, just the colors and like the scenery. Colors. Yeah, like it was just really cool and scenic, and like the action.
I need a little bit more than that.
One of the reasons why Birds of Prey is right below it is like, at least if Black Mask hadn't died and he was a little bit more, I don't know. It was good though. Yeah, it was good. And then I'll just do my last two. The first Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman 84.
I can't comment on Wonder Woman 84. Yeah. Suicide Squad was just not very... I wasn't invested very much outside of Harley Quinn because it's Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
She's a good actor. That's where I'll leave that.
Will Smith was
Will
really
Smith
good.
as well. But I will stamp my thing where that would be at the bottom of my list. Jared Leto as Joker was the worst casting of all time in my opinion.
And I didn't mind him.
The laugh.
That being said,
his Joker laugh alone was every time it was on screen, I laughed at how bad it was.
It's not even close to Heath or
it's no comparison.
Joaquin, but
I could have done better, and I'm not even an actor. That's how much I hated it.
It didn't bother me at all, but the film itself was kind of a mess. Although I do enjoy it.
It was okay.
Like I said at the beginning, honestly, all these films I enjoy, and I own all of these. Not gonna lie, but that one is definitely in the bottom. Like the action was good. There was 2 strong characters. Will Smith, Margot Robbie were definitely the leads. Like they did a good job on their characters. And then Wonder Woman 84, I need to see that one again. I only watched that once in theaters, but just the once through. Like, it was overly long. The plot...
Was it like 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours. They tried... It was one of those kind of like...
felt like it stretched out?
Kind of like Spider-Man 3, where they just kind of tried to throw in two...
I don't know about that. I'll argue that to the death.
Well, no, I enjoy Spider-Man 3 enough, but it was one of those films where they just tried to add two bad guys.
Shit.
Like, wouldn't put...
Was it Pedro Pascal and the Cheetah?
Yeah. And I actually enjoyed both of their characters, like their stories.
Just didn't get enough time with them?
But not enough time. Well, it was really long, so too much time.
Overdid it.
Yeah. But there was just the biggest point, like, there was, like, hardly any action for the 2.5 hours long. And you have these two villains. And there's just, like, they tried to do too much and not enough action to, like, keep you invested. And the story wasn't, like, super...
I don't know if you're painting a good picture for yourself, because that seems to be, like, the thing you care about most is the action.
No, that's not... Like, Joker, like, that one was all just beautifully done. And, like, the acting was amazing. Really good, yeah. But when
it didn't have a strong enough script to not have enough action to balance it out. Yeah,
like, the script was poor. Like, the story was lacking. And you can get over a little bit of that. Like, that's why Suicide Squad... I would kind of have over it, because at least that one you had action with, like, a poor plot, and, like, Birds of Prey still had some good stuff and action, but, like, Wonder Woman 84 was just lacking on action, lacking on really good story, and the character development was just took too long, and then not enough, like, payoff by the end with, like, action or a really good story. I don't know. It just was lacking in a lot of areas, and I love Wonder Woman, but that one was just kind of... I do need to watch it again, so it could...
I need to see it.
It could move, and we could watch it.
I don't know that.
But I need to go back through it and just kind of look at it again.
Yeah.
But as of now, that's kind of my ranking, just for the world to know my pointless opinion on. But in the end... Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is my, like...
the GOAT in terms of superhero trilogy.
It's up in my, like, top films of all time with, like, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Dark Knight trilogy, like, all these ones, like, the Dark Knight trilogy. Just anything Christopher Nolan touches in general is just usually gold, so...
Yeah. I could do, like, a half-hour review of all the Star Wars movies, like what we just did, but I'm never going to do it, because it's hard for me to choose, like, and actually solidify things.
I know,
For the first 6, the only one that I'm willing to give, like, huge criticism to is Attack of the Clones, just because that one has bad acting in it.
But
it's really good. I still enjoy the plot and story.
Yeah, and the clone...
The intrigue.
Like, the last 45 minutes, once Anakin and Padme are strolled out into that arena, from then to the end is just...
And the only thing I think is boring in Phantom Menace is when they're on Coruscant, but after getting Anakin, just when it's all nothing but, like, council and
kind of lulls
politics. That's the only part I would say I'm bored during the movie. So I don't understand a lot of people's issue with that. I'll throw that out there.
I don't know why people say that the first one had such bad acting.
The acting that one's way better than Attack of the Clones, and a lot of people put Attack of the Clones above it.
As far as acting, and I'm like, have you not seen the first film? Like,
Phantom Menace does not have bad... The only bad actor, arguably, would be Anakin.
As a child.
But it's a child, and it's not that bad.
No, yeah.
I've seen way worse.
Liam Neeson.
The first episode of Hawkeye. The child actors in that was so bad, I was clawing my eyes out.
That was rough.
And my ears.
But Liam Neeson can roll out of bed and not even try and give you a great performance.
Good, yeah.
And then Obi-Wan is just freaking boss.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor.
I know, it's true. He's a stud. I thought about naming my kid Ewan for a little bit, actually.
I would
still on the table.
Of all the ones that you've said to me so far, that's the one that I would say you should go with.
There's still, like, that one and, like, Nash, I kind of both really like. But Ewan is definitely one that I've been kind of hoping to push for. Yeah.
That's just my humble opinion on that.
Oh, yeah. Nobody
that
cares.
or Duncan Jr.
Well, it wouldn't be a junior for me.
Well, Duncan.
Duncan Cagle?
Yeah.
I mean, edit that out.
Do you know all our last names?
I'm just kidding. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure that's my YouTube channel name. It's just my full name.
That's fair.
Don't Google me.
I like how we haven't even brought up the topic of this sequel trilogy.
Well, that's... If we do another podcast, we can start right with Star Wars and get into all this.
Let's go episode 1 to...
I'll come in and I will do my best to do a list of what I think the order is, and I'm going to try not to do my usual cheat where I just 1 through 6 are great. And then here's what I brought. Episode 2, maybe a little below that.
Everything, and then 10 feet below that, the last
7. And then 9, and then The Last Jedi. Because even though 9 is not a good movie, it's at least fun to watch.
It's not a good movie.
I can watch it and just have fun. It feels like Star Wars, and I can have fun.
It's a good, bad movie.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, I give him credit. He
did what he could.
He did what he could.
Wreck he started.
That's true. He put him on a path that wasn't great to start with.
Ryan Johnson came in and was like, let's just do this and move it somewhere else.
Totally.
Why not take the town and push
it
somewhere
else?
Take the story push it in a whole other direction.
And he totally screwed it up. And then J.J. Abrams was like, well...
We got to try and make both sides happy.
Yeah, he did the impossible task of making a bad movie good and a good movie bad.
Even though, honestly, the two worst things about that movie are... Because a lot of the other stuff I can overlook, like some of the stupid one-liners, like they fly now, even though there's been jetpack stuff forever.
That's true.
And Palpatine, how they handled that whole thing. Well, I guess, and Kylo Ren / Ben dying.
That was
so dumb.
I was mad. If
he was the only thing about that sequel trilogy that worked.
If after everything was said and done with all that, if they hadn't changed anything except him living, I would have been satisfied.
I'd been like, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. And then Rey taking over the name was kind of BS.
Or at least if they were even ballsy enough to keep Chewbacca killed after that whole thing.
Yeah.
That might have been good. But I was a little iffy. When it happened, I was kind of like,
yeah. But you're right. If they would have just kept Ben Solo alive instead of the whole killing him off, and then him and Rey, I would have been fine with Rey. Got nothing against the girl power. She
just didn't have a character. She was just there to be better than everybody.
Exactly. The only one that had good character development, was interesting, was really cool. Kylo Ren, and then you go off and kill him at the very end.
They tried to give her training montage in The Last Jedi, but all she did was accidentally cut a rock for a gag. And then she was able to outfight Luke.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And I was like, that's bullcrap.
We could do a whole podcast just on Star Wars. That's
the next one.
Yeah.
If we continue.
I just wanted to scratch the surface of DC. Next thing you know, we're
you 10 minutes into Star Wars. Listening to your list as I want to talk about something I care about more. Not that I don't like DC. I give everything a shot.
Well, Wonder Woman not.
I just haven't gotten around to it. I've heard nothing but bad things about it, so I'm just taking my time.
You gotta get through it, just to see it once.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but I think that's a good point to wrap up. About exactly an hour here.
Man, is this your longest one so far?
I think the longest one before this was 32 minutes or 33.
Once we get going on the topic, though.
Yeah. Ugh, all that dead air of us being retarded. I mean...
It'll probably get trimmed down to 45.
Not smart.
We don't use that word in this house.
I'll leave it in this time, because at least that'll be mildly amusing when I go back and rectify that. Anyways.
It's been real.
It's been real, fun. It's been fun, but it's not been real fun. I beat you to it.
Dang it.
I don't know how to conclude it, so I just say...
Peace, brothers.
Yo, dog, it's Shizzle. We're out.
For Shizzle.
And hopefully the next one comes out soon.
Maybe I'll be on it.
Perhaps. Might have to do... All right, we'll talk about it.
We're going too far.
All right, this is over. We're done.